Looking to join the X-Men? Let's talk science. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the first episode of, I guess you could say, Season 2 of Let's Talk Science, because we took a little break for a couple months, just because we had to readjust and everything. If you didn't see the update video, go check it out. It explains why we were gone. But we are back now, and we're gonna jump back into it with the first topic, known as mutation. Now, a thing I said I would start doing with the channel is, if somebody suggested me a topic, then I would shout out their name and their channel and whatever. But mutation wasn't really suggested to me by anyone. I just decided to do it myself because we decided to do genetic alterations on carnivorous plants in our last scientific arsenal episode, and I was like, you know what, mutation's pretty cool, and we talked about X-Men, so let's just do an episode on mutation. So I was going to do that a couple months ago, but I never really got around to recording it, but now, since we're making a comeback, I might as well record it, like, right now, right? Alright, so let's jump into mutation. In biology, mutation is a permanent change of the nucleotide sequence of the genome of an organism, virus, or extrachromosomal DNA or another genetic element. Or, in other words, it's like changing the gene's DNA or formula that makes something what it is. So if you change, like, okay, let me see. An example of this would be if you had a building made of Legos. If you change the color of the Legos, it would change how the building looks, right? Well, that's kind of what mutation is like. If you change the building blocks of it, it looks a little bit different than what it really is. And that's basically what mutation is. Mutation is the changing of the structure of a gene resulting in a changed form. So, if you go inside an organism and changes genes, or if it happens naturally, then that's a genetic mutation. It's causing an organism to be different than how it should be genetically. God, my friends are right. Maybe I do need a little bit happier with this. Sorry about that, guys. I'm still a little sick. I'm not feeling too good. So if I'm not super enthusiastic, I'm a little sorry about that, but I'm going to try to be better. Anyway, there are several examples of mutation in the world that you might not have realized are actually mutations. Mutations are a lot more common than people think they are. Because when you think of a mutation, you think of, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or you think of X-Men, or you think of something that has, like a really, really strange power, like, looks extremely different, and that's what you think of when you hear mutation. But there are lots of mutations that you don't even realize. One thing that many people don't realize is adaptation and evolution are also forms of mutation. For example, if you live in a cold area for a really long time, then your body's going to start adapting to the cold weather, and you'll be able to live in there a lot easier without as much struggle. That's adaptation, but it's also mutation, because it's changing your body's formula to make it a little bit more adaptive to its area. So, adaptation is a form of mutation, but not all mutation is a form of adaptation. It's just, it's complicated. Some other examples of cases of, like, adaptation, mutation kind of things would be, like, adjusting to higher altitudes, immunity to certain diseases, underwater vision. Yes, there are people called Moken that can see underwater just because they are surrounded by water, so they have to swim a lot, and their eyes have adjusted to seeing underwater a lot easier. It's crazy, I know. Super dense bones causing you to be a lot more durable, like your bones might not break as easier. And there are actually some people that, when they age, their bones get stronger instead of weaker. So that's really, really cool. There are people who have adapted to not having to sleep as much. Like, their brains have just, they don't need that much sleep because they have a lot more energy or something. I'm not really sure how it works. Like, there's some people that only need 6 hours of sleep every night, and that's perfectly refreshing to them. If they get any more, then it's too much. There are polydactylies, which, if you don't know what that is, that's people who, they have an unusual amount of digits. So if you have, like, 6 fingers or 4 fingers, that's not if you lose a finger, that's if you're born with 4 fingers, or, like, 11 toes or whatever, then you're a polydactyly, because poly means many, dactyl means toe or finger, and yeah. Conjoined twins are also a form of mutation, or also conjoined organs. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, if you're into agriculture, you would know what that is. It's basically when you give, like, medicine or anything like that to an animal, and then when you butcher it, when you butcher it for meat, then its meat is genetically modified because you gave it medicine or whatever, anything like that. That's considered a GMO, a genetically modified organism. There is this process known as mutagenesis, which this is the process of changing genetic info in an organism to cause mutation. So if you literally go inside an organism's genes and change its DNA to make it mutate, then that's called metagenesis. Not metagenesis, mutagenesis, my bad. Now we get to the fun part, the X-Men. Now, when I wrote this script, I mentioned how there's no one that can generate electromagnetic fields, shoot lasers out of their eyes, or have adamantium claws. But I mentioned how it could be in the future. I was wrong. I subscribed this month to a magazine. It's called Popular Science. If you subscribe to it, I think it's really cool. And they had an article on this biohacking. And if you look at this, what does that say? Touch electromagnetic fields. So it's not anywhere close to Magneto's power to actually create magnetic fields where he can bend metal and use it to his advantage, but it does say that you can feel electromagnetic fields. So if you walk near anywhere that creates electromagnetic fields, you can actually feel the field around you. And if you touch like small things like paper clips, then they will stick to your fingers. So you can turn your fingers into magnets, but they just won't be very powerful magnets. But you can feel the magnetism everywhere, and I think that's really amazing. And the article goes on to explain all kinds of different biohacks. So like, it's not necessarily genetic mutation, but it's bionic implants. So they're getting closer. They have superhuman night vision. They have hearing Wi-Fi signals, turning your fingers into flash drives, which I think I covered that before in my prosthetics video. Hearing colors, shocking your brain into working better. Implanting headphones, like you can like touch your ear and listen to your music and stuff like that. Installing sonar, becoming your own compass. There's so many biohacks that they have inside this magazine. I decided to include it in the mutations video, and I probably should have mentioned that in like some kind of bionics video because I did that a long time ago, but I didn't have this magazine back then, or else I would have. And while it's not a mutation, it's a bionic implant. It's similar to the idea because you're readjusting an organism's genetic structure to make them different. So I'm not sure if that would be considered mutagenesis. I'm never going to get that right. If that would be considered mutagenesis or not, but it's definitely interesting. It's something to look at. But that's about all I have to say about mutation for this section, guys. I might cover it in a scientific arsenal later on. If you think there's anything I missed, be sure to put it down in the comments. I'll be sure to address it in a later video. If there's anything else you want me to talk about on the subject, be sure to put that down in the comments too. I'll check that out, and we'll give you a shout out if you give me a suggestion. That's kind of one of the things I promised in the video, in the channel update video. And I will be uploading one more episode today, and I'm gonna probably record that right now, and then I'll upload it later. So be sure to check that out, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys are excited for the new channel coming back. And yeah, that's about all I have to say, guys. Have a nice day, and keep talking science.